time, and we really sort of keep this long. We usually don't stretch the conference beyond 5 o'clock. But this year we have been working mostly remotely with a very interesting professor at Stanford University, Dr. Burton Lee, who absolutely wanted to be here because he has a lot of ideas about the challenges and opportunities in the maritime industry. He's been involved in the US with space and many other ventures. And now we try to actually convince us that it would be possible to return from Croatia last week in Brazil more or less tomorrow, and then on here in the Philippines, and we couldn't figure out how to do that by plane. So we decided to try an experiment. So this is going to be a Skype call in California, and Burton is online. So I think we will try and see what happens. Hey, good morning, Burton.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear. Now we have you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Very good, perfect. We actually have a bit of funny picture, so you're looking at the audience backwards here. But we can see you in front. You can probably see yourself there up on 3 screens.
Vaguely, yes.
Yes.
So everyone's wearing nice shirts with collars.
Yes. All right, so anyone want to ask you something or speaking with you, can turn around and look at the web camera that is emitting a red light on the corner. So anyway, we have had a great day, a lot of people turning out, very good presentations and interesting discussions. And we know that you wanted to comment on innovation in the global marine sector, what the challenges could be and opportunities. So the floor is yours.
Right, well, thank you both here and Christina for the opportunity. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, very good.
I think this is a very interesting time for the global maritime and marine sector. There are a couple of important trends and the German word comes to mind, leitmotif, leitfaden, which are worth pointing to, and which then we can come back to some brief comments on your own strategy at MARSEC. One of the big factors which I think is going to generate an important new round of innovation in maritime in the next decade is the widening of the Panama Canal with the third set of locks. I just returned 2 weeks ago from an economic development conference in Houston, Texas, and all the port cities, New Orleans, Florida, East Coast, are readying themselves for a new flood of traffic out of Asia from container ships who will now be able to go through the expanded Panama Canal, which is due to open in 2014. So this is generating a new round of multi-billion-dollar investments in rail, other infrastructure, port facilities. It's also generating new shipbuilding around the world as a new generation of ships who can traverse the wider set of locks in the canal. The demand is going to be higher for those types of ships. So that's going to drive, I think, quite a bit of innovation in the marine sector globally. Secondly, there's the broader issue of global climate change, which is, I think, going to draw increasing attention to the importance of the oceans for environmental and energy reasons. However, it's not clear when that greater level of interest will really kick in. I just spoke last week with a friend of mine who's leading one of Ireland's leading ocean energy companies. It's a startup company. They've received angel and venture capital out of the US and Ireland and the UK. He's been at this for 5 years, and they still don't have a fully working prototype up. They've received substantial funding from the energy department, but he's just very frustrated at the very, very slow cycle of innovation around ocean energy and wave power, which I think many of your participants who watch the sector will understand is a huge potential new industry focused around the maritime sector. So I think broader focus on climate change, energy is going to continue to drive innovation, also around environmental sensing based around ocean and maritime platforms. But exactly when this is going to kick in terms of major new funding, how this is going to impact private sector investments and opportunities to start new companies and develop new markets around maritime, marine, energy, environment, it's not clear. Then the third major trend, I think, is the one where MARSEC is placing more of a focus, which is in the convergence of maritime and information technologies. Here in Silicon Valley, ICT is perhaps even hotter than it was 5 years ago. Of course, now we have Apple and Google, Amazon, other companies now in the tablet, the smartphone space. But we also have data, big data, we also have cloud computing, we have gaming, mobile. The ICT sector here is just exploding with increasing amounts of private, angel, and venture capital going in, as well as increasing participation and engagement from European countries and companies here as well. In particular, I wanted to note for your audience that just in the past year, Norway has now opened up a new incubator soft landing facility here in downtown Palo Alto called Innovation House, which is quite interesting. I stopped by there yesterday with some of our Swedish colleagues from Innova to show them what the Norwegians are doing, and they were quite interested, maybe even a little bit jealous to see Norwegian companies, startups, SMEs, corporations having a facility right in downtown Palo Alto that they can use to explore market opportunities here in Silicon Valley for Norwegian companies. So I think that these three trends that I've highlighted, so the canal, which is focusing on infrastructure, a whole new wave of infrastructure investments and transportation investments, energy and environment, and then information technologies. IT is definitely going to move fastest. It's going to, I think, be the easiest market and industry around which to engage when it comes to existing companies, new startups, investors, but also for European clusters as well. So this is part of what a large part of what I like about the MARSEC strategy is is your focus on information technologies and maritime, bringing enterprise open source concepts into the maritime sector in a big way. That's, I think, where potential for new innovations, for attracting private sector investment around a number of your projects and tying into the both strength in the European, but particularly Nordic software sector, but also in the US software sector, enterprise software, consumer sector has the greatest opportunities. So that's kind of a 50,000 foot view. Be happy to answer any questions or comments that you or your audience might have.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that we have some real perseverance. We've kept them here since you went to bed last night, so it's up to 9-hour conference now. But do we have any questions for Burton from the floor? They seem to have been listening to webinars. We have announced free beer after this talk, so it's...
Well, we talked so much open innovation and open source, now we would have to actually serve something that is open bar.
Yes. If I might just quickly query my American colleagues who are in attendance there, whether they see, from their own perspectives, whether they see something different in terms of convergence between maritime and some of these other sectors than what we see from Silicon Valley.
Who would like to take that question?
Any Americans in the audience? Raise your hand.
Yes. Jim?
There's one. There's one.
You know, not to credit myself, I mean, my main focus area is just in open source in general, so I'm not seeing any real differences from what you are, except that it's just the enthusiasm behind using open source and open innovation. I think there's a lot of parallels between that, but I can't think of anything different.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is simply a new application area for tried and true open source, open innovation methods and approaches which have been adopted in many other industry sectors. So I don't see any major barriers to adoption of open innovation, open source in maritime. I'm not very familiar with how maritime companies approach enterprise IT, how their IT departments might differ from IT departments at non-maritime companies. That might be something to consider in terms of how maritime companies approach privacy, security. Are there cultural differences between maritime-based enterprises and more land-based enterprises? I certainly don't play in that area a lot, so there might be some issues around how IT departments think or approach those issues of security, privacy in maritime companies. Other than that, yeah, I see this pretty much as another very potentially large application area for open innovation and open source.
Okay, Burton, I don't know if you can see me now. I have open out here. Hello. All right. So thank you very much for your contribution. We promise that next year we will do the logistics planning a little better so we can get you over here. And thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Christine and Gary, I'd just like to congratulate you for, is this the second or third MARSEC conference you've held?
Actually, it's the second in a row, but altogether it's the third one. We had the first one in 2007, that was the very start of MARSEC, and the past 2 years we had consecutive.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to you both, and I hope you and the attendees have a great beer and dinner overlooking the Mediterranean this evening.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think this is it. Now the final point of the program, maybe open bar. So, all those survivors still, you're more than welcome to grab a beer. We are serving local, very good beer called Chisk, the pride of the Maltese nation, and it's actually really very good sunshine beer. So please go around and help yourself and enjoy the view. Thank you very much.